Hi. A quick overview of the reproductive system. So, as the name suggests, the reproductive system's role is to help us to reproduce. So, we have the male genital system, which has a role in sexual intercourse and the production of semen. The sperms in the semen go on to fertilize the ovum in the female system. And the testis in the males produces the androgen, which is the male hormones, as well as the sperm production after puberty. As we know, there are millions of sperms, and the health of the sperms is very important. We need to look after the health. That's why electromagnetic fields, not having very tight underwear, and good nutrition and exercise are important. The ovaries in females release the eggs in a monthly cycle, which is the ovulatory cycle. And the end of that cycle is the menstruation, so it's called the menstrual cycle. So each menstrual cycle, the uterus starts getting prepared to receive the implanted egg. And if it doesn't happen, the preparation is shed, and that is the loss of the shed material, the menstrual material. And this cycle is generated after puberty by a cyclical hormone released from the brain. The puberty indicates sexual maturation, and the range, actually there is a pattern where the age is becoming less as we get puberty, and it can be anywhere from 9 to 13 years in girls. In many populations it's becoming close to 8 to 9 years as well, and in boys it's a little later than that, so you can say 10 to 13 years or 10 to 14 years. The secondary sexual characteristics announce the development of puberty, and we have the organ maturation and the start of the menstrual cycle or menarche in females. So usually the pubic hair, the axillary hair starts developing first, then the secondary sexual characteristics, and in a male we have the testicular enlargement. The semen production starts after that, the ability to get an erection. And for a female, as I said, the secondary sexual characteristics of breast and the pubic axillary hair development happens first, and then the puberty with menarche starting. So this is a quick anatomic assessment of the male reproductive system. We have the gonads, the two testicles, and we have the epididymis over the testis, the vas deferens, the tube which takes it to the seminal vesicles where the semen is stored, and we have the prostate gland, which also has lubricating functions in terms of the genital system. We have the urethra, which is common between the genital system and the urinary system. So the urinary function has to be kept on standby when there is a sexual function, and so on. In terms of the female, we have the ovaries on both sides. From the ovary, we have the fallopian tube, which is actually a tube from the uterus. It has a fibrillated end, and that can receive the egg when it is released and take it down the tube to the uterus. And very rarely the pregnancy can happen in the tube itself if the ovum hasn't descended and the sperm manages to swim all the way into this tube. And in that case, it's called a tubular pregnancy or ectopic pregnancy. It's dangerous because it cannot develop there, and it leads to a rupture of the tube, which can lead to a fatal complication in the mother if it's not picked up and treated. So the vagina obviously is where the semen is ejaculated, and it goes in through the cervix, and the fertilization happens usually within the uterine cavity. The fertilized ovum then sits on the uterine wall, implants, and then develops into the embryo. So the secondary sexual characters that develop at puberty: in the male, the voice becomes lower or breaks, the pitch lowers, hair starts to grow on the chest, face, underarm and pubic areas, the body becomes more muscular, penis is larger, and testis starts to produce sperms, and testicular size becomes significantly more. The female, the breasts grow and the nipples enlarge, and the hair development happens. The anatomic changes like the hips becoming wider happens, the uterus and vagina become larger, the ovaries start to release eggs, and menstruation starts. So these are different stages. There can be different disorders of the reproductive system. So we can have infertility, which may be due to low semen count in a male, or lack of cyclical release in the female, or related to problems with the ovaries. We can have congenital anomalies in the genital system, which may need fixing. Some of them, endocrine conditions or genetic conditions, can lead to ambiguous genitalia, where you may have an under-virilized female or an under-virilized male, or a over-virilized female, so you can't make out whether they are male or female. Now we have problems with transgender, where the emotional sex is different due to various factors. We can have tumors in the cervical or pineal cancer, testicular cancer, or uterine cancer, and sexually transmitted infections are very important to be aware of. We need to educate about healthy sexual practices from school, wearing a condom, and not having multiple partners, and so on. And then we have disorders of sex chromosomes. So we know that the presence of the Y chromosome drives the development of the male, but you may have disorders like 45XO, where there is only one X chromosome. We have streak ovaries and infertility with certain other features called Turner syndrome. And we have Klinefelter syndrome, where there is extra X chromosome in a male. So there are different characteristics which are different. Turner syndrome is manifest with short stature. They may have a low hairline, a shield chest, widely spaced nipples, and we have small metacarpals and small fingernails. We may have skin freckling. Usually they don't go in for puberty, and short stature is typical. We may have coarctation of the aorta and horseshoe kidneys as well. So because the ovaries are defective, they cannot develop fertility unless it's a mosaic type of Turner's as well. And in Klinefelter syndrome, we have the extra X chromosome, so there is feminization of the male. There is delayed puberty, and the semen count is very low. The testicles are small, and they are tall but unicoid. The body habitus is more like female, and we have breast development as well due to the hormone imbalance. They have few chest hair and long arms and legs, narrow shoulders. So mainly testicular size is small, tall stature, and delayed puberty with some feminine features. Needs to think of the genetic testing for Klinefelter syndrome. So with this I'll stop, and I hope this is useful. Do go through the full playlist. Thank you.